Morning and good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. I hope that your day is going as well as can possibly be expected, as I hope every day. So today, my talk, still along the pathway of taking the mystery out of mediumship, is about how we need to be consistent and present within our development. We all know that to some degree our development is such that it will slowly just tickle along. But it will come also to a point where it seems to stagnate, stand still, and that is the same for everybody, regardless of what level of mediumship we're actually at. It makes no difference whether you are a beginner, one that's been travelling the path a little while, or one like me who's been doing it for too many years to count, because then we have to admit how old we are, which a lot of us don't really want to do, as I'm sure you know. But the one thing that we have to do is we have to be consistent and present within our development, and that means we are taking control to a certain degree of what we're doing. We are cooperating with our guides. We are cooperating with our own spirit. We are cooperating on all levels. You know, sometimes you get people who say, my guide says, and, you know, if I had a penny for every time somebody said that, I might be talking to you from some Caribbean island somewhere today, but I'm not, so that's fine. But, you know, my guide says is a wonderful statement of not accepting responsibility for what we are being made aware of, what our perception of something is, and it needs to be our responsibility, because you see, at the end of the day, we are the ones who everybody sees. They don't see our guides, they don't see our inspirers, they see us. So if something's not right, it's us they are looking to and us they are looking at. We cannot pass the buck. And the only way really forward within our mediumship is repetition. And that may sound a little bit boring and like, oh, I don't want to do that again. Well, do you know what? A lot of us don't want to do that again, but we have to, because we are constantly changing, we are constantly evolving, and we are constantly growing and learning. And each time we do something, we do it slightly different to what we did it the last time. We do it maybe a bit stronger this time and a bit better, or maybe sometimes we don't quite on track this week. And you know, there's a lot goes into the way that we develop. Some of it involves our own emotions and feelings and our daily work. Some of it involves things outside of our control. You know, life happens and we are human, and as such we have a responsibility to say, not today, I can't do this today, I have to address this situation in my life. You know, if you went to work out in the wide world doing a quote unquote normal job, if things weren't right and you needed to go and attend to them, most workplaces would understand that and they'd go along with it quite happily. So I don't know what it is in people that makes them think that this work demands everything from them, that they don't have the ability to take control and say, no, not today, or yes, I'm feeling better, let's do this. There is no harm in saying, not today. There's a lot of harm involved in pushing yourself until you have nothing left, and more importantly, in working when you know that really you shouldn't be. You have to be in your integrity within that, and that is the being consistent and present within your development. You know, when you go to your development classes, your circles, your groups, workshops, you are giving that time to that class, to that workshop. You are giving your time to that leader. You are saying, by doing that, you are saying, I have trust in you to lead this circle. I have trust in you to take this workshop. So why then would we sit there and decide that we think we know better? Or decide that, well, I actually don't want to do that. There is a reason why when we go to groups and classes and circles and workshops, there is a reason why your leader of that group, the facilitator of the workshop, there's a reason for the things they're asking you to do, the exercises they're asking you to take part in. There's a reason for everything that is planned out. Part of it is to educate you in how it works, but part of it is to help you grow, to expand your awareness and to push you towards your potential. And when I say push you, I don't mean dragging and screaming. I mean pushing what they can see within you that you haven't attempted to go for yet. So it is a very simple but complex situation in some respects. What we need to do is we need to have some form of structure, always. We need to be comfortable with the people that we're sitting with, even if that means we're sitting on our own. Are you comfortable? Do you like being on your own? Do you like to go somewhere and just sit in that peace and connect with your spirit guides, connect with your own spirit also? Is that a comfortable thing for you? Because, you know, not everybody likes being on their own. Not everybody likes to do things alone. Some people like to be part of a group with other people. They prefer the companionship of people on the same journey as them, or a similar journey, because none of us have exactly the same journey. People like that, whereas there are others who prefer that solitude of one-to-one. And when I say solitude, I mean literally that one-to-one, that they're getting what they need from it without the energy of other people. Now that's good. It's a good thing to have a one-to-one if you are in a position to be able to do that. But at some point you have to come out of that to start to blend with other people. Because how are you going to react when you start to work with people, maybe doing readings, sittings, healings, demonstrations, when you have all of the energy of those people in that room? What are you going to do with that? How are you going to handle that energy when you're not used to it? So, you know, these things are things that we need to be aware of when we begin our journeys. And, you know, Giselle here has put lessons learned, and I quite agree, Giselle. I quite agree, lessons learned. Most of us learn the hard way, but if you don't have to, that's all the better, isn't it? If somebody can help you through those things, that's even better. Most of us do learn by our mistakes. Most of us do learn by the repetition of doing it again, really, until one day we think, just a minute, this does not work for me. I need not to do this. So what is it about being consistent and present that is so important? First of all, you need to turn up on time. You need to be in your seat, in your circle, ready to go. Not fuffing about in your handbag or your pocket, your wallet, your purse, whatever. Not thinking, oh, I haven't switched my phone off. You need to be prepared. We can all have a last minute run through the door. Everybody gets them at times. but there has to be some preparation. You know, you are part of such a sacred energy. You're part of such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Why not give it the time and the respect it deserves, just as it will give to you? Because whatever we're putting in comes back, and it works and it grows, and we expand our awareness, we become more in tune with ourselves, with our environment, and therefore with spirit. And what is being present? It means just that, being present in that moment, because nothing outside of that time you can do absolutely anything about. Whatever's going on out there is going on out there. It is not anything to do with you in this moment, and that might sound a bit hard to understand, but as I've said before, and I am repeating myself, and I know that, do you know what? If you haven't put the cooker on before you come out, your slow cooker, there's nothing you can do about it now. If you've come out and left your oven on, there's nothing you can do about that now either. And I don't mean to sound harsh to the doggies, because, you know, everybody knows that I love doggos anyway, but if you forgot to feed the dog before you came out, you can feed them when you get home. They will not die of starvation for waiting an hour for their dinner. They might make you feel like they did, and if it's a cat, they definitely will make you feel like you've committed sin upon sin upon sin. But the point is, there's nothing we can do to change it in that moment. Now, yes, if it was something absolutely serious, of course you would leave and go. But under normal circumstances, there is absolutely nothing we can do. So we have to be present in what we are doing. Now, this comes in the form of taking notice of what's going on in your group. And by that, I don't mean looking to see if somebody's doing better than you or worse than you. It's about being aware of each member of your group. It's about being aware of the energy and the vibration of light that is being generated. It's about being aware of your spirit, your soul, and how it feels. And it is being aware of spirit energy. And when all of those things come together, then we create this beautiful thing called development and communication. And really, that's what you're aiming for. Now, sometimes, like I say, you go along to your group, and last week you had a really, really good week, and you got something really good and really precise. And you go in all fired because you did it great last week, so you're on a roll, this is going to be really good, you're getting there now. And then you sit in that group, and nothing works as it did before. Nothing works like it did last week. Your links might be brief and what I would call weaker, and by that I mean not quite able to connect to the energy. And what do? Well, we accept that this is how it works. You know, we are working with frequencies of energy, and energy constantly moves, it oscillates, we've got waves of it coming through. It doesn't hold its strength like that. It's vibrating and it's moving all the time. And how we connect with it governs how well we are receiving the information from spirit. Now, sometimes what they'll do is they'll give us something really, really good. And when they're doing that, it's my belief that they are showing us what our potential may be. They are showing us what, with good development, we are capable of. They are showing us what we can do if we put the work in and the effort in. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? But yet when people drop their game, as they think, they become disheartened. Instead of thinking, well, okay, it wasn't my week this week, but next week I'll do better. Next week's spirit will manage to get through to me. It's very rare they think, okay, what did I do differently this week, which meant my links weren't as strong, my awareness wasn't as reactive. What can I do to change that? They automatically look at who else's fault it might be. But we are the masters to some degree of our development, along with our spirit guides. Together we master this. And it's a team effort. And you know, when I talk about my guides, I talk about them as my team. We are a team. It's not my team, it's that I'm part of their team. It is a team effort. There is so much happening that we don't feel it all, and we shouldn't. We should have those communicators that we work with consciously, and the rest of them are going about their part of this work. And that's how it should be. You don't need to know who every single guide is that's working in the background, because do you know what, if you did, you'd be that busy connecting to them, you wouldn't actually get the communicators through, would you? And at the end of the day, we are here to help be a part of this amazing thing called communication. We are here to be part of this wonderful journey that links two worlds together. So you have choices to make. How much effort do you want to put into it? And if you're one of these who will put the effort in, then I wish you great joy and success with the spirit. If you're one of these who already thinks, well, I've got a wonderful natural gift and I really don't have to do much, well, you're right. If you've got a wonderful natural gift, then you don't have to do as much. But you still have to learn how it works, and you still have to learn how to optimize it, to work with it so that it works at its optimum as often as possible. And if you're one of these who thinks nobody can teach you anything, well, you need to go right back to the very beginning and start again. Because the moment you think you've got nothing left to learn, then you've got a lot to learn. And I do not say that with disrespect to anybody. I say that in all we have got them. Every single one of us, including me, I've got quite a lot, I have to say. I get very frustrated with my mediumship. Even after all of these years, I get extremely frustrated. Because some days it's like it just flows. And you're welcome, Francis, Brother Francis, you are more than welcome. Thank you for listening to me. You know, like with everybody, sometimes my mediumship just flows. Sometimes it's like pulling hen's teeth and really having to work hard. Just because people make it look easy doesn't mean to say it is. And that's the other part of being present and consistent. Don't look at other people and think that's how you should do it, because that's how they do it. You are not them, you are you. And you need to be aware of how you work. You need to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses. And by that I mean, for instance, are you somebody with a low attention span? Do you quickly get pulled off track? Or are you somebody that in a visualization will go into every little nook and cranny, reaching out information that really is too finite? You know, we need to look at this picture. If you're in a meditation or a visualization, you know, does it matter if the rock was 4.5 meters high or 5.2 meters high? Does it matter? No, it matters that it was a big It matters if it was a big rock or a small rock is what matters. Absolutely, Giselle. Yeah, how can I best serve today, others and myself? You are absolutely right. And that's a good question to ask every morning. How can I best be of service today? Um, and it's something that we should all be doing. So thank you for that reminder. Um, you know, when we are doing our visualizations, when we are doing this expansive work that we do, yes, we need to know the basics of what's in there, but we can get lost in the information. So we have a responsibility to think, okay, I'm going too deep into this, I'm going too far into that. I need to just pull back and let's just take the picture as a whole. So if in that meditation, for instance, a gentleman comes forward, yes, it would be nice to be able to look at how old he appears to be, look at his clothing, what sort of generation does he come from, what sort of time period is he fitting into, what sort of expressions does he have, things that would make him recognisable to his loved ones, things like that, or would make him recognisable to you if it's just a meditation. We don't need to know that he had a slight scratch on one hand and he didn't have one on the other hand. We don't need to know those finite minutiae. Sometimes we can get caught up in too much information, and in doing so that clouds somewhat the information. It bogs you down so that we forget the bigger picture, and at the end of the day what we're doing is we are bringing two worlds together and we are reuniting loved ones with those that they've lost. Sometimes they remember them, but sometimes they're just people that they know about from the family conversations. So, you know, think clearly about what you want to do. You know, if you are going to follow the pathway, for instance, of a psychic artist, then you do need to be aware of their physicality, the facial expressions, sort of hair they had. You need those sort of details if you're going to do a representation. But Spirit are going to remember, they're going to draw with you, they're going to create that image with you. But you do need to be aware of those things. If you're going towards clairaudience, for instance, might be something in the tone of voice that really makes them stand out, or the way they speak that would really make them stand out, and that's the sort of information that you're looking for. If it's clairvoyance, then yes, you do want an image of them, or an image of something that they're doing, or something that's familiar to them. But they don't need to show you every step of their life. They need to be able to bring to you enough information so that you can relay that information, so that your sitter can say, yes, I understand that evidence, because that's what we're doing, remember. We're giving evidence, we're not giving proof. We provide evidence of the continuation of the human soul. We are not proving to anybody that there is an afterlife. We are providing the evidence. It's up to them to decide whether that evidence is enough for them to say, I accept that person has worked with whoever. And that's what we need to do. That's what you need to remember. So in being present and consistent, let's just recap for a few minutes. We need to turn up on time. We need to be in a good place within ourselves. We need to be ready to work, not worrying about what's going on outside because we can't change it. We need to be consistent in turning up. It's no good ringing up your circle leader or your group leader saying, well, do you know what, there's something really good on at the movies this week, I'm going to go and see that. Because my response to you would be, well, that's okay, then you go every week. Because if you'd rather go to the movies than come to your close circle, then I don't want you in my group. And that might sound a bit harsh, but it's the reality. If people will put their social events And I don't mean special family events, I mean if they'd rather go to pictures one week on the exact night of circle instead of another night when it's showing, then they're not that interested really in development. And that's not what you want, is it? So, you know, we have to be consistent, we have to be present, we have to bring ourselves to the table, so to speak. And we have to ask the question, how best can I develop so that I may serve people at my best? And that is a really important question. How best can you develop? Your guides will guide you. Your guides will walk that pathway with you. But they won't keep doing it over and over and over. They'll probably be around, but if you're not putting the effort into it, you are not going to get the benefit out, because the simple reason is you will not be connecting to your guides to be able to do the work to your full ability. So you won't know when they're trying to help you, because you haven't put the time in to be consistent, and that's what it's about. You know, everybody has things in their lives where we have to step out. Everybody has things that happen in their lives where this week I can't do it, or next week I can't do it. We all are human, we have a life. But wherever possible, we need to be consistent and we need to be present. So I will leave you with those thoughts for today. They've been on my mind for a little while. And I just thought I would share my thoughts. You might not agree with them, and that is fine, but they're my thoughts, and that's the way I feel with these things. Next week here in the UK, it's a national holiday weekend for us. We take Fridays and Easter Monday, Good Friday and Easter Monday off as holidays, so my husband is home for a long weekend, so I won't be here next Monday, but I will be back the Monday after. So thank you so much for coming along and sharing with me and leaving your comments. And I will see you all 2 weeks today. So please take my blessings and my love, and have a good week, all of you. Take care now. Bye.